welcome everybody to Krannich Expert Base. Our next guest is Raunigg from Fronius International. He's going to introduce us to their new products, GEN24. Yeah, please, the audience is yours.
Thank you so much for having me here today. Thank you, audience, for attending to this little show today. My name is Raunigg. I'm from Fronius International, and together we will talk about GEN24 Plus, our new all-in-one hybrid inverter. So maybe you already have heard about it. I will give you a short introduction over the GEN24 Plus product. So it is our new all-in-one hybrid inverter. So of course we have a hybrid inverter, and with hybrid inverter we can use a battery storage system. So furthermore, we have two devices available. So we have the GEN24 Plus Primo and the GEN24 Plus Simo. So with the Primo, we have a single-phase available device. So for all single-phase markets or single-phase applications, we have the single-phase from 3 up to 6 kilowatt of power, and the Simo then is our three-phase inverter. And for all three-phase markets and three-phase application, we have it up to 10 kilowatt of power. With this three-phase inverter, you can then make all applications work with up to 10 kilowatts of power and above. So if you want to use a battery system, you can charge the battery system with 10 kilowatts of power, and of course charge your power devices at home with 10 kilowatts of power. So let's go through the planning process. So we'll take this about planning, installation, commissioning, and service. So this is the three main facts that we were planning on the GEN24 device. So first of all, about planning during the installation. Of course, we have the SuperFlex design with our GEN24 Plus device. This makes it very easy to plan a system. So within such a system, we have an extremely broad MPP range. So the voltage range is up to 800 volts of voltage range. And therefore we have now two MPP trackers available in our device. So we have two MPP trackers available, plus one output for the DC coupled battery storage. Furthermore, we can oversize the device up to 150%. And of course we have communication on board. So you can communicate either to your battery system, for example. You can communicate to different options like charging infrastructure for your electric vehicle. You can take advantage of the Fronius Umpire, for example, for producing hot water, so hot water generation. And of course, if you have a heating system, for example, a heat pump, or another gas station or whatever, you can then take in this heat in your buffer storage and then build up your heat storage with it. So you can always use the system with different other options, and you can implement that in the system. Okay, let's go to the installation process quickly. And for installation, we have a very easy installation in mind for the GEN24 Plus. And therefore we have, again, as we had with the Snap Inverter series, we have a wall-mounted system. So you do the wall mounting with the GEN24 Plus, and then put in the AC, so the power device itself, the hybrid inverter itself, you can put in on this wall mount. So this makes it very easy and fast to install the device, because you just have to wall mount your system and then put in your inverter. Furthermore, we have these fast locking screws, so 180 degrees fast locking screws, so it is very easy to mount the device. You don't have to take care of lots about installation, because you don't have to do any Newton meter anymore. You can't destroy the screws, and this is very easy and fast to implement. And of course, we have our spring connections now available. So you just have to bit in your cables and do the spring connection, and you just clamp down the springs and you are done. So this is basically all about installation, and it's very set up for a fast and easy installation, so you can't do anything wrong, and it's very easy to set it up, the device. Okay, about commissioning, we have some new changes about commissioning. So we will have an app with GEN24 Plus, and the app will do an automatic Wi-Fi connection to the inverter. So when you open the app, you have automatically connected to the inverter, and this makes it very easy to connect to the device itself. Because the device then reconnects to you, and then you can do the commissioning on your mobile device. So no matter if you choose to take a mobile phone or a tablet, for example, you can do the app, and therefore have an automatic connection to your mobile device and then do the commissioning on the inverter. So again, you will then have a basic menu to set up the inverter and a professional menu to do all the functions that you need to do during commissioning. Okay, last but not least, for service, we have a very easy service part. So we have very fast service that we can implement because you can exchange the whole AC power part. So if there is a failure or if you want to service the device, you can exchange the AC platine and just put in a new one. So this is then very easy and can be done from every installer. So you don't have to do special trainings, you can just do it as a normal installer as well. You can furthermore exchange the pilot. So the pilot in this case is our communication protocol. We have the pilot as it was with the Data Manager 2.0, as we had with the Snap Inverter series. We now have the pilot. And the pilot does all the communication you need to do for the inverter itself. For example, do load management, energy management, and you can do then connections. Furthermore, of course, you can use SolarWeb. And with SolarWeb, you can really do a one trip to site. So with SolarWeb, it's then possible to do monitoring of your system. So you can do it with an online platform. You can monitor your system. You will have your MPP trackers listed there, and you can see the power of the device. And if you have, for example, an error code, you will get a notification on your mobile, so via email or SMS, for example. And then you know, okay, something is wrong with the device. I have to show up at the customer and search what it is. Furthermore, we have the possibility to do software updates, and most of problems or issues should be solved with software updates. So with SolarWeb, it is then possible to just do software updates, and most issues will be ensured with that and will be solved with the software update. So this is all based on very easy and fast service, so that you don't have to get extra to the customer, but you can do it from home, from your office. Okay, let's have a look on some special characteristic of the GEN24 device. In this case, from the start, we will start with the device on first quarter of 2020. So orders are accepted from October of 2019, and the production will start at the end of 2019. So we will then release the product, so it will be delivered from 2020, and it will be available with the BYD battery box on the start. Other systems, like the LG Cam system, like the LG Cam Reso system, will be available later on. So, of course, as you know, with the BYD system, you will be available with 5 to 9 modules. And with the Primo, since there is a different voltage level, you will be available from 5 to 8 modules. So you can choose freely how many modules you want to choose for the BYD system, and then choose from 5 to 9 modules depending on your needs and depending on your energy needs. And as you all know, with BYD, a very easy installation is possible. So you just have to put in the devices like Lego stones, as I always said. Of course, the BYD system is already available, so you can order it now and then just do a software update to install your new GEN24 Plus inverter with it. Okay. Then we have the Multiflow technology, and this is very special about it because we can, of course, do with Multiflow technology all kind of energy flows within the system. So first of all, we have Multiflow like a normal PV system. So you have the function of going down with DC current to your inverter and then doing AC current to your loads or feed into the grid. Here in the picture you can see the GEN24 device as well as the Fronius smart meter. And the Fronius smart meter is a bidirectional meter that is used to detect your energy flows within the system. So you always know when energy is going to the grid and is coming back from the grid, for example. And with the smart meter, you can then do really data monitoring, and then you know always what's going on within your system. Second on, you can install a BYD battery system, so a DC coupled battery storage system. And then you can, of course, charge the battery either from the PV modules or from the AC grid. And you can also use the power stored in the BYD battery for powering your household consumers. And with the time of use feature, it is also possible to charge the battery coming from the grid. So this is always a possibility to charge during night times, for example. If you have a nighttime tariff, you can charge the battery up from the grid. with the cheaper energy and then use the cheaper energy stored in the battery system to retake it during daytime hours when the energy is expensive. And of course, depending on your market needs, if there is a high energy tariff, this system really pays off because you can just re-amortize it about the energy costs of the system. Okay, and furthermore, it is possible to do the AC coupling. So if you have an existing inverter, you can then, of course, connect the existing inverter to the new system. So if you have, for example, a normal SIMO hybrid, a normal SIMO device, you can connect it with the GEN24 device, and then, for example, do reworking with a battery system. So repowering of a system is always possible, and then you can also do an AC coupling. So you don't need to put panels on the GEN24 device, but you just do the AC coupling and have your existing device there, and you put the AC coupling to the existing device, and therefore put your energy loads coming from the existing inverter to store your energy in the battery system, and then retake the energy from the battery system for your household consumers and stuff. Okay, next up are the two different backup power variants. So with GEN24 Plus, we have two different backup power variants. First of all, we have the full backup, which is very basic. So you have your household consumers, you have your grid switches, and with these grid switches, you can then reconnect in the case of grid failure. So if the grid is away in emergency power mode or backup power mode, then the whole household is resupplied by GEN24 Plus. So when you have then the battery system, the emergency power mode is then available during there is energy still in the battery system or when there is PV power from the modules. Furthermore, we have opportunity power, so we call it the PV point. And with the PV point, we have available a 3 kilowatt and single phase socket, more or less. So we have a connection on the inverter that enables you to install a single socket. And this socket is then available when there is no grid connection. So if the grid fails, you have this PV point available, and then you can draw your consumers, your most important consumers, like charging a smartphone, charging a tablet. You can use this PV point socket, and then you can charge up your most important consumers. It is an automatic switchover, so you don't have to do anything for it. It is free of charge. It comes with the inverter, so this is an onboard function of the inverter. And of course, it's cost effective because you don't have to do this disconnection from the grid. So you don't have to do this disconnection grids. Okay, how does the PV point work now? So nevertheless, if you have a battery or not, you can also use the PV point even without battery system. So if the grid fails, then you have your PV point emergency power, so backup power available. And then of course you can use your energy coming from the PV modules and also energy coming from the battery system. But as I said, you don't need the battery system to use the PV point. You also can use your PV power coming from the modules. This is because, of course, most people say, yeah, they want to use the PV point because they have a PV system, and when there's no grid, I still want to use my energy coming from the panels. And therefore, of course, we have the PV point available, and I think it's a very smart feature to enable emergency power, backup power in this case. Okay, and second on is, of course, the full backup. So in full backup mode, the whole household is supplied. And with GEN24 Plus, we can ensure that we have real three-phase consumers running. So even big machines, or for example, on a farm, you will use real three-phase consumers. So with the real three-phase consumers, we have automatic resupply again. There are switch-up times from under 1 minute. So in under 1 minute, the inverter then starts up again and then repowers the whole household supply. So this is then, of course, the full backup variant. Yeah, the backup variant then works similar like the PV point. So we have this backup switch available in the system, and when there is no grid, the Fronius smart meter will then detect that there is no energy anymore, and then the GEN24 Plus device will reconnect the grid. So we have in this case then an island mode. The system is then disconnected, and your energy flows, again, you can use your energy from the PV panels, you can use the energy stored in your battery, and then power up your household consumers in emergency power mode. Furthermore, of course, if you still have energy left in your battery pack, you can define which level of battery at least should be in there. So you can define, for example, up to 20 or 30% of the battery should at least stay full of charge. So in the case, if the grid is away at the nighttime, for example, that you still have charge in your battery and you can still power up your consumers in those. Okay, so overall, to sum it up, we have a one-fits-all solution, so we have all this function in one device implemented. We have the full backup and PV point available, so the customer can choose which of these he wants to choose. And we have, of course, the ease of use, so it's very easy to install, a quick installation and commissioning over the software, so with the app it is very easy to connect. And of course we have top service with Fronius Solar, and you can always use, of course, our tech support. And with the SolarWeb software, it is very easy to commission your system and then, of course, make service for your system. For the end, I want to invite you to our booth at the B2, and therefore you can have a look again on GEN24 Plus. So this is really a hands-on experience. You can then open up the device, you can make the commissioning with a tablet or with your mobile phone. And you can just try it for your own, how easy it is to install the GEN24 Plus and how easy it is to commission it. Thank you so much.
Are there any questions from the audience? Feel free to ask. What's the booth number?
Sorry?
What's your booth number?
The booth number, it is B2, directly when you come into the B2 hall. From here. I don't know actually the number, I'm sorry, sir.
I think it is quite big.
But it's quite big, yeah, you can't miss it.
You will notice when you enter hall B2.
But I can look it up for you afterwards and tell you the number, of course.
Any further questions? And then, thank you very much, Michael.
Thank you so much.
And yeah, this was the last presentation for today. We will continue with the expert space tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Then we will have Mr. Oliver Haas from Delta Electronics here. He will give us a presentation in German about PV solutions and for residential and commercial use. Thank you.